What's up, YouTube? Rick with Nemesis Racing here, and we are back with another episode of the 70 Challenger build. This one is a big one. This car has gone through extensive work in the past couple of weeks, so there's a lot of stuff we got to cover in this video. We worked day and night hard on this car, so we missed a lot of footage because we were just rolling so much, but there's gonna be a lot of pictures, a lot of video clips on all the types of work we covered in this video, so you don't want to miss it. It's gonna be huge. All right, so a lot of the footage in this video that you're seeing, a lot of the work that was done about probably 2 months ago. I've been working on this video for a really long time. Sorry it's taking so long. But like I said before, there's a lot of stuff we missed recording because we're just rolling. We've been really busy with this car. I've had a lot of other projects I've been working on, the Hellcat included. So we're gonna get back on track here. I'm gonna talk on a lot of points that we missed, so that way we keep the flow of this video together if you guys are good with that. So one of the big things we're gonna go over in this video is, as you can see there, we got some long tube headers on here. So we're gonna go over covering that, removing the old manifolds, and the pain we had to go through to get those on. As you can see here, we've got a nice shiny aluminum radiator, Mishimoto, new hoses. And if you look closely in here, you might notice a different cap here. This is a Mopar licensed electronic ignition. So we installed that, got some new plug wires ran in there, got a new coil. Let's go check out some of the other stuff we did. Some of you guys may have noticed in some of the other video clips of the car, the RT badge here. This is not originally an RT car, it's a 318 car. But I have plenty of Mopar projects and I had this RT badge laying around. I threw that carbon fiber trimming in there probably 5-6 years ago. Just had that badge sitting around on a shelf, but figured I might as well put it to use. It looks pretty good on this car. This car is gonna be a RT clone tribute car, so it's fitting. Well, along with the long tube headers, I got myself a exhaust kit. It's just a Summit Racing exhaust with the downpipes there. We still got to do some adjustments on the bottom pipes there. This side's a little bit lower. I got to drop this side down a little bit. But it's a 3-inch Summit Racing exhaust with the mufflers there. It sounds really good, but check this out. If we want even more sound, we got a cutout under there. So you could probably see that this header fitment is pretty tight. A lot of guys recommend when you're installing headers, you know, you gotta lift the engine up, pull the torsion bars out. Every single header seems like it's different, and every single header seems like it has some issues. You can see in here, it's a little tight. These headers are actually not for vehicles with power steering, but as you can see, it's pretty good. I didn't have too many fitment issues with these headers as soon as the engine was in the car. Yeah, spoiler alert. We had to pull the engine out to install these headers. Let's take a look at the bottom and see what kind of room we had, as well as some older clips before the headers went on. All right, guys, so check out the driver's side from here. It's pretty tight to run up in there. We had to install the starter to the engine as we put the header on. We had it, obviously, we had to install, it was a pain to put the engine back in and make sure the starter seated up in the right place, but we got it done. We also had the torsion bars out. They're a lot easier to do all this with the torsion bars out. You just have more clearance for everything. This side wasn't so bad at all, really. But it makes the job a lot easier if you just pull the engine out. Here we have our electric cutouts, also a Summit Racing part. I've had these laying around for a long time, so I figured they were 3-inch. I've had them for a while. Why not buy a 3-inch exhaust and install it in on this car so we can have a nice rumbler. So the electronic ignition is pretty straightforward to install. If you follow the instructions, you shouldn't have any issues with it. It's really a plug and play kit. There's your module there. Comes with a ballast resistor. We kind of tapped into that old one. We're still going to use it. This system does use a ballast resistor. That's how it's designed to be. And we got some MSD Street Fire new plug wires on there to each brand new spark plugs down in there. Let's see how she sounds. Check out how we got our switch set up here. Right there. Down is open. Then up, close. Very nice. Gotta love it. What do you guys think? Sounds pretty good, huh? It was a lot of work to do all that. So here, moving forward in the video, I'm going to show you a lot of clips, pictures, and stuff like that we did to get this job done. Installing the headers, pulling the engine out. Also going to cover some shocks and some LED taillights in this video. So stay tuned. Don't want to miss it. What's going on, guys? We're here at my girlfriend's dad's shop here with my buddy Diego.
What's going on, guys?
We've got the car up on the lift. We're gonna get the exhaust pulled off now. Okay, so let's take a look at the current exhaust on the car. It's aftermarket. I don't know when it was installed or what it is, but it's pretty straightforward. There's just 2 bolts on each side to the stock manifold right up in there. And it's not being held in any other place than right up above the axle here. So once we get it removed up from the manifold, it should just drop right out. Pretty simple. Okay guys, so we got the exhaust pulled off. It's out there. I'm gonna do a quick startup with the open manifolds, because why not? We're there. So let's hear it. All right, so now we heard what it sounds like with the open manifold. Let's get these manifolds pulled off. All right, guys, so we got the manifold pulled off. Just keep in mind, when you're changing spark plugs on these cars, you have to pull your manifold off. Just look how much more room you have. I'm just kidding, guys. No, we're gonna get the spark plug swapped out here, and then we're gonna work on the other side of the engine. So here's a look from the bottom of the car. We're gonna have to feed the header up to get it replaced and in there. We might have to remove the starter. A lot of work, not looking forward to it. Here we're working on taking off the passenger side. I think it's just easier to get to the bolts from under here, so try that out, see how it goes. All right, so it was much easier under the car to get the manifold out, and then just fished it out through this gap right here. Some of them had bolts in it, some of them didn't even have bolts, and just be mindful the Mopar big blocks have water jackets that feed to the studs of your manifolds. So yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of a mess, but we'll put some Teflon tape on the new bolts so we don't have to worry about that. All right, guys, well, we got a little busy here. The fitment with the headers was driving me crazy, so we went to drastic measures. We pulled the engine out. Since we had the engine out of the car, I took the time to replace the water pump and the thermostat. So figured might as well do that too. Also, we had a gnarly valve cover leak right here because this housing was stripped out. So it was just spilling oil all over the block here. So we went ahead and chased those threads here. We're either gonna rethread it and put a bigger bolt in there or a coil in there to catch the threads. So we'll see. We'll get to that here soon too though. A couple of reasons why we went and pulled the engine out. So it was a really tight fit in the torsion bar to try to get it up past that and the transmission bell housing. Also, this stud was broken, this one was missing, and this one was missing. So I figured the easiest way to fix these would have been to pull the engine. So now we got all the studs pulled out. We retapped, I think it was this one actually. We broke and had to retap. So now I'm just going through and chasing all the threads with this to clean them up because they do lead into the water jacket, so there was some buildup in there. And then we'll get the headers mounted on here. All right guys, so we're getting the header mounted up. One thing to keep in mind on Mopar big blocks, the bolts and studs for the manifold or header lead into the water jacket in the head. So you need to put a thread sealer on these, and obviously these get really hot, so you need a thread sealer for high temperature. This one I'm using here is up to 450 degrees. Being that the water jacket leads into it, I don't think we should exceed that temperature, and we should be good. So let's get all these bolts put on. All right, so there you just saw going to extreme measures, having to pull this engine out of the car. That was a lot of fun, but it's not as hard as you think. Like I said, we replaced some parts, got the headers installed. I know I said it probably like 10 times about the water jackets, and I misspoke on it. None of the studs were missing, just some were broken or didn't have a nut on them holding the manifold on. All the studs were there in place, so it wasn't actually leaking water. But installing the engine is pretty straightforward, so we have it back installed coming up right here, and let's do an open header start. Okay, go for it. It's nothing like a V8 open header. Moving forward here, we're gonna start touching on exhaust stuff. We got the whole exhaust hung up, mocked up, getting ready for welding. Got some clips of welding it in there, and then the finished product at the end. All right, got the exhaust going on here. Have to make some modifications to hang them. These are temporary tips. Eventually we're gonna swap to the RT style cutout and square tips, but for now, let's get the job done. Everything else running up, long tubes connected in. Making pretty damn good progress here. Coming along pretty good. All right, so now that we got the exhaust hammered out and everything's taken care of, I did a LED taillight swap, swapping the bulbs. So I do a before and after comparison with the regular old bulbs that were still in the car, and then swap it over to LEDs to show you the difference in responsiveness and just brightness. It looks really cool. Check it out. All right, so the last part of this video we're going to talk about is just replacing the rear shocks real quickly. It's a nice segue into the next video we got coming very shortly too, about replacing the rear leaf springs. So just going to go over some quick tips and tricks and removing and replacing the shocks. All right guys, so we're under here removing the shocks. These are shocks that are on the car. Simple on the bottom. On the top, in order to get a wrench on it, because it's a bolt and a nut, you gotta pop the floor seal up there and put a wrench through on the top, and then on the back side here, you can get your socket on, pop it out, and then the bolt come right out. And it's as simple as that. Once you get the nut off the bolt on the top, just take a pry bar behind this, pop it off, and then wiggle it and get the bolt out up there, and shocks are off. So something easy that I've learned in just putting shocks on vehicles is sometimes it's really tight up there and it's tricky. What I like to do is leave the retaining strap on them, hang it from the top, and then as we're ready, we'll clip this and just kind of guide it as it extends out slowly and latch it into there. So much easier than clipping this early and trying to fight it and push it up. And you know, we're on a lift, we don't want to push the car too hard or anything crazy. So I just like to cut it and guide it into here. I'll show a clip of it now. All right. Okay, well that didn't do what I expected it to do. There it goes. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to jack the axle up now. That would happen. All right, so I lifted the car up a little bit to get this stand under it so we can push the axle up and get our bottom shocks mounted. And we just gotta put the nut on up there and tighten it. Boom, brand new shocks. So these are the plugs I was talking about right here. There's a cover like that on both sides right there, and then you can feel the shock bolt right up in there. See, nice and easy. All right guys, so that's gonna wrap up today's video. Covered a lot in there. You know, it's been a long time adding footage to this video for a lot of content. Stay tuned, we'll have a rear leaf spring install done soon, as well as an install of this duck bill we got here going. So don't wanna miss that. Thanks for watching guys.